Okay, so day 4, there's a spreadsheet over here that allows you to calculate, like, if I have, where's the number? 8 oil refineries and 8 oil wells, and 2 water pumping stations and 2 sewage treatment plants and a town hall and 2 coal power plants and so on and so forth. How many houses do I need to provide enough workers to fill all the jobs? And the answer is kind of ridiculous. You need 420 medium or low wealth and 200 medium wealth and 100 high wealth and 230 stores. Like, there's no room on the map for that amount of people. So I could either have surrounding cities that have people commuting in, which doesn't work. Actually, the regional play doesn't work that way. It worked that way in SimCity 4. It does not work that way in SimCity 5. There's a limit, like only 20% of your population is allowed to commute, because otherwise it would overflow the highway with, commuters. So I can't really do that. Or I can eliminate shops. And if I just take out, if I decide to have no commercial zoning whatsoever, no shops, and let everyone get their happiness from libraries, then I don't need any schools, and I can get by with a much smaller number of workers, right? Because if you're trying to provide enough workers for each shop and enough shopping for each person, it just kind of builds on itself and builds on itself until you need a million zillion houses to provide enough work for everyone. And I can't fit that many houses, man. I would guess, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2 is like 16 times 10 is 160. I can probably only fit 160 combination housing and shops, and that's just nowhere near the 700, 800, 900, 1,400 buildings that I would need to do it the right way. So obviously that's not going to work. So I'll start by getting all the oil I can, and then all the fuel I can, and then selling it for a bunch of money. Other people suggested using the fuel to complete a great work, but I have heard from everyone who's ever completed a great work, including my friend Chad, that it's not worth it. The great works all suck, and they're broken, and they just flood your city with tourists that you don't want anyway, or require you to have additional fire trucks to put out fires all the time for no benefit. So I'm not going to do that. And another person suggested making processors, turning the oil into plastic, and then the plastic into in combination with alloy into processors, and then the processors into TVs. But I've already done that. I already did an electronics city, easily making $6 million a day or more. And it's, once you've done something once, why do it again? So yeah, stick to selling the fuel, and I'll just up the density of all the buildings, add all 3 wealth types in a reasonable proportion, and then go for libraries instead of shops to provide goods for people. Okay. Another person suggested making a trade port and using boats to ship my crap instead of these trade depots, but I don't see the benefit. I mean, it'll save me a tiny bit of money, and it'll ship stuff out a tiny bit quicker. But until I'm failing to ship my stuff the normal way, I'm not going to bother. $1 million a day from fuel sales so far. Another person mentioned that the real challenge of an oil city is to pull all the oil out of it, then run out of oil, and then repurpose the city with no oil, and that's what's really challenging. And maybe if I don't get bored, I'll stick with the city long enough that we'll run into that as well. But I mean, then you just have half the city covered in pollution, and so you put low wealth people in that half, and that's not really that big of a deal. Anyway, oil. So I built this road here at such an angle that I should be able to plop some more oil wells. Heal. The guideline isn't allowing me to do that, so I think this should work. You think that's big enough? Let's use the fingers to measure again. Right there. Right there. Right like that, I think. I don't know. Let's just do a short one and see if things fit. So this will fit. And this fits. And this fits. So we're gonna need probably 4, 5, 6, probably 7 oil wells. That's 4. Let's add some more, man. We got room up here to add another one, and we can run its little road. So I'm humming the song from How I Met Your Mother because Barney is hilarious. Just thought you should know. And throw down a couple more oil wells. I would totally normally fast forward this part because there's no decisions being made here. So why don't I stop and okay, now all the oil in the universe is covered in oil wells except for this area, which is covered in oil refinery for some reason. This should theoretically be getting me, let's see, 10,000 a day per well times 1, 2, 3. Oh, I never connected this well to anything. Well, I guess I'll blow it up then. Don't need it. Wait, I totally did have oil wells on that. Shouldn't have blown it up. Damn it. Come on. Obviously it fits, I just blew one up. Oh, oil well. How I build thee all the time. Okay. Oh, I just never filled it up. There's 4 more slots for pump jacks, and I have not pump jacked to the extreme. Whatever. Good enough. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 oil wells, so we need 9 processor factories, although probably... So, I heard in one of the comments that these oil refineries turn 1 barrel of fuel into 2 barrels of... or 1 barrel of oil into 2 barrels of fuel, although the size of the containers right here kind of suggests that it's a 4-to-1 ratio instead of a 1-to-2 ratio. But either way, it looks like I'm probably going to need more oil refineries than oil wells. Gotta turn all these back on. Use locally. Use locally. Use locally. And turn on. So we've got 3 trade depots accepting oil and 1 accepting fuel. I could save space by having a single trade port. These are pretty small. I'm doing it. Die, train depots, die. Die. I wonder if I'll be able to put a boat off of this if I put it here. Cargo ship dock. Nope. There we go. How is this connected to a dock? To a road? It isn't. Well, whatever. Now I need some processor plants things. I also need to switch this over to have no freight storage. That's just silly. I need to bring in oil and ship out fuel. Where's fuel? There we go. Should be good enough. So now I need at least 5 more refineries. 1, 2, 3. So, and maybe 20 more. But, you know, having enough refineries to refine all of this oil, I think, is basically impossible if it really is a 4-to-1 ratio. I would need like 30 something, 36. And I ain't fitting 36 oil refineries here by any means. No, sir. I'm thinking that each individual one might take up too much space too. I don't need any plastic things. Maybe fuel. Come on. Why won't it let me make this? It just let me build the stupid thing here. Okay, no different for the refineries there. I should probably connect this road. Alright. Probably going to have to redo a bunch of roads to find space for these oil refineries. So the oil refineries don't have to necessarily be close to the oil wells, but it makes the most sense to put them as close as possible. They do want to be as close as possible to the trade depot because they're going to drive to the trade depot, pick up some oil, and then drive back to the refinery, and then drive to the trade depot to drop off fuel. So having them here would be good if I could, but I don't think I can. Need more space. Map not big enough. So the idea of having enough houses to provide jobs for all this is just completely off the table. No possible way. So everyone wants to get right here, right? So I have a little bit of space here and a little bit of space here that I had intended to use. But imagine getting, like if I built processing plants here, or refineries here, they'd have to go all the way up here to get their oil. Which I suppose is not a big deal as long as I make sure that these roads aren't busy. It's still kind of a wasted long drive. Well, let's do it, man. Okay. So I want one. This space is just not big enough to put an oil refinery in, so it's just kind of wasted. Oops. Oops. I want the road to be hugging the wall. Okay, oil refineries, go! Make thyself known. I don't want plastic, I want fuel. Okay. And because, I mean, money is obviously not going to be any object. Money is no object. There's no reason not to max out the delivery cars of each of these places where when I build them. And as somebody mentioned, and I already knew and should be obvious, these delivery cars move fuel to the depot. They do not sell it. Not enough room. But whatever. Lots of cars, lots of fuel. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of processing plants. Let's do one of these squiggly line roads. Curved roads? No, arced roads? Yeah, I'll try to arc a road over the water to get to... Come on, make me a bridge! Make me a bridge! We want a bridge! We want a bridge! I'm gonna make a bridge like that, and that works, but I can't make a bridge the way I want to. Let's see. I want this road connected to this road, but it's not working for some reason. Oh, it worked. Yeah. So I read, I saw a Reddit post once about a guy who had bridges all over his water, and then someone else was like, it's so hard to make bridges, how do you do that? And he's like, just try it 100 times and eventually it'll work. So that's the tactic that I used right there, and eventually it did make a bridge over the water from this road to this road. And now all these oil refineries are connected to these other oil refineries, and we're all one big oil refinery happy family. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's still only 8 oil refineries. So I'm going to have way more oil than I have refineries, and I'm fine with that, I guess. I don't, there's not really any space to add more oil refineries unless I want to have fewer people. And that seems kind of silly. I mean, I would get more money by having fewer people and more oil refineries, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. So these are not needed. They don't need to be on once I've plopped the things that require them, which I think is kind of silly. They should be required to stay on all the time, but they're not. Let's set our fuel to sell and our oil to use locally. And now everyone's waiting to get workers. So these should just all say closed, no hiring. Some of these oil well things are probably full because this is red. What are you telling me, red thing? Out of petroleum resources. Oh, it's because I blew up the trade depots. It's like, you have blown up the trade depots. I could have just said that, and that would be quicker. Right. So some of my refineries don't have any oil, obviously. Especially the new ones. Alright, let's get some rich people up in here. So, We have no high wealth jobs, actually. No, we do. We have 1,000 high wealth jobs, 4,600 medium wealth jobs, and 11,000 low wealth jobs. I believe it's 400 workers per low wealth building, 200 per medium. So to get 4,600 medium wealth workers, let's do some math with a calculator thing. Whoop. 4,700. Divided by 200. We would need 23 buildings, medium wealth buildings. I think we could get that. So let's blow up all of our commercial. So one big risk of blowing up all our commercial, right, is that if we blow up all our commercial and then we make a second city within this region, then everyone's going to commute out from this city and into another city to satisfy their commercial desires. But I don't see much choice except for having a bunch of unfilled jobs. Although unfilled jobs don't really hurt you. So maybe it's better just to have a bunch of unfilled jobs. So there's a bunch of traffic going on, and I gotta figure out why. It looks like people driving to shop. Why are they driving to shop? Where do they come from? Alright. Going home, went shopping, feeling happy going home. Feeling happy going home. I want to find somebody going to shop, not somebody going home. So there's a house somewhere that can't walk across the street to shop, and I must find that house and tell them to stop sending cars everywhere. So you can see how all of these places have just a couple of workers. I think I might be out of power or something. Yeah, I'm out of power. Closed needs power and water. Okay. So these are taking way more power than I'm providing. Need more coal power plants. It's funny, so you might think I'm producing an excess of oil and then I'm just shipping it off to be sold somewhere. Wouldn't it make more sense to have an oil power plant than a coal power plant? But the way this game works, you know how usually, like, say I'm a farmer in real life and I produce a bunch of eggs and I sell them. Well, I'm actually going to sell egg futures. So if I want to sell a person an egg, I might sell it for, I don't know, let's just make up a number, 10 cents, right? Because that's how much a person will pay for an egg. If I want to sell a ton of eggs to a local store, I can probably get 5 cents an egg. But if I really want to sell eggs to the global market, to people who might not live anywhere near me, and I don't want to personally be responsible for shipping the eggs anywhere, I just want to say, look, I have some eggs, someone give me money for it. What you do is you sell egg futures on the commodity market, and then you sell them several months in advance before they even hatch, and then you have them ready, and someone comes and picks them up, and you're just like, okay. And that price, you sell them for like 1 penny. Right? So in real life, there's a huge advantage to selling locally, and there's an even huger advantage to selling to a consumer, and that's why farmers markets exist in the real world. In SimCity, the buy price and the sell price are exactly identical, so there's absolutely no advantage to selling things locally. So it's actually cheaper to have a coal power plant right next to an oil well, because I ship in my coal basically for free, and I sell my oil for free. There's no overhead to selling the oil. There's no overhead to buying the coal. So it doesn't make sense to have a coal power plant, even though I have, or an oil power plant, even though I have a massive excess of oil in the city, which I think is really stupid. But again, there's a lot of things in the game that they did for simplicity's sake to make the game more attractive to less smart people, I guess. You know, I mean, my 5-year-old son loves this game, and he would not be able to play it if you needed to understand things like, you know, use locally, whatever, blah. So the simpler you can make the game, the more fun it is, and that's why it makes sense to have a coal power plant here instead of an oil power plant. We've got to turn on some more of our sewage things. Remember, we pre-built the sewage plants, but turned some of the treatment tanks off so that later on, like right now, when we wanted more stuff, we could just turn some of the pumps back on. Turn on another water pump. Alright, and our cash per hour is really low, but our cash per day is still quite high, so I'm okay with that. I would like to get this road connected to somewhere near the power plant so that these guys can actually get power, because right now I think they have no power for some silly reason. I shouldn't say some silly reason, I know exactly why they have no power. I would like to move my city hall so I can fit a road in here. I'm going to do it. Screw you, City Hall. But when you blow up City Hall, you have to pause the game because it makes your police department shut off and let all the criminals go, unless you pause it and make a new town hall. So careful about that. So we're going to plop a new town hall up in meow, up in meow, up in meow, Muppet meow. So this is just wasted space. I could use it for something like a town hall, I think. That would make sense. Whoop. Let's do that. And then we can connect this road. Cannot draw through buildings. What buildings? There we go. That was a weird message. Town hall. We need our sewage. Department of Utilities. Department of Stinky Poop. Department of Stinky Poop. I blew up my community college. I didn't show that, I guess, but I totally did it. So now this should be getting power any moment now. They're little power agents carrying power around. So I did get an answer, by the way, on what this means. No, wait. This means? Apparently, people go to college and then they come back and they have a little bit of tech level to them, education level or whatever. And then tech level agents get sent out from their houses. And if they run into a factory, then the tech level agent gets consumed the same way that other agents get consumed when they reach a sink. And so that's what those pink lines everywhere were. And the reason that I've never seen anything but a whole city covered in pink lines is because I always educate either everyone or no one. So if you educate everyone, your pink lines are going to cover the whole city. And if you educate no one, you're not going to have any pink lines. So it is indeed a useless map for me, but for other people who only educate a small subset of people, I guess it kind of makes sense. This is operating... Oh, this one anyway. Operating at full efficiency despite having like one worker. If we open the worker overlay... Ooh, look, he's got a lot of workers because he's the closest to America. Got some workers at our oil wells. And our trade port. Looks like things are operating. Alright, so things should probably not be operating very efficiently because right now, this guy has to get his oil all the way from the north side of the map to the south side of the map, and then ship his fuel all the way from the south side of the map to the north side of the map. So eventually he should be having problems doing that, but right now it seems like it's going okay. This guy has a bunch of people working here, but not enough, I guess. There's a threshold to how many people working here before he can start producing fuel. Let's open our trade map and look at what's piling up. So we're making this little light green fuel out of this dark blue. And it looks like we're full. We're full up on oil. Oops. Yeah, so we want to probably just start selling our oil export. Because again, there's no way we're going to get enough refineries to use all our oil. We're just getting too much oil. So you might wonder, like, I just probably quadrupled the number of workers I require to make my oil city work, and yet I didn't add any houses. So how is this oil refinery, for example, functioning? And the answer is that things can function just fine with less than all of their workers. So once upon a time, everybody in my city was walking across the street to work at the neighboring Rodriguez testing services. And now a lot fewer people are working at these commercial jobs. You can see some of them don't have any people working at them. And a lot more people are driving over to the oil refineries and stuff to work there. So our goal is to maximize the number of people working at commercial jobs because those people walk to work. But we need just the bare minimum of enough people to work at the oil refinery so that they actually function. Like this one, apparently 26 is not enough. So the more people we can jam into our city, I think, the better these things will function. But I'm going to wait a full day to make sure because, again, the fewer people we have, the less traffic we're going to have, and the better these actual things are going to function. So I'm not going to up density just yet, but I do anticipate needing to up density in order to get all of my oil refineries working. No active modules. No crude oil. Okay, so that one just opened and they haven't gotten crude oil shipped to them yet. These little yellow cars are going, you can watch this guy go all the way up here, get me some crude oil, then go all the way back down. We can add a bunch of delivery trucks to sell things faster. And I don't see why not, since we're rich. No reason not to. Rich! We're rich! Chappelle Show, Chappelle Show. Rail tracks and a trade port sign. Somebody else mentioned that I should totally put signs on everything I make, but I don't care. Sorry, dude. Don't care. Some of these, one of them at least is filling up. Let's see if any others are filling up. This guy needs more trucks so that he doesn't fill up. Wow, he lives right across from the trade port, has 4 trucks, and is still filling up. That's pretty sad. Everything is green. The little green thing is a quick indicator of whether things are going well. This one needs more trucks. Again, there's no reason for me not to just put maximum trucks at everything, because the amount of profit I'm making off of selling the fuel justifies any over expenditures, which is why people in Alaska get paid a whole bunch of money every year just for living in Alaska. I'm gonna max out my trucks, my trucksies. So there is going to be a little bit of a challenge when I first